Is he coming?
Quiet. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. You just have to wait until morning and everything's gonna be all right.
Hello and welcome to ControlAltDeath, your one and only Animal Crossing podcast. No.
Yes.
Welcome to the show. We don't talk about Animal Crossing, but we are playing it currently.
I mean, we could just stop doing this podcast and do an Animal Crossing podcast.
Oh my goodness. Let's
I
start another
wouldn't
one.
hate it. I wouldn't hate it.
So what's going on? What's up?
Oh, not much. Just the whole quarantine thing.
Yeah.
It's been interesting. It's an interesting time we live in.
It is. It's almost, life has become a horror movie.
Yeah, it actually has. Going to the grocery store is now really scary.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're not at the point yet where I feel like I need to bring a weapon, but we're getting there.
It's getting there. It's getting close. It is getting
I need
close.
to start nailing some nails into a baseball bat to get ready. How are you guys handling it?
We're good. We're good. I found a place that actually had toilet paper today, so
Nice.
I am happy. I had to go to a 7-Eleven and not a grocery store or supermarket. So
Yeah.
that's the key, guys. It's those 7-Elevens.
There you
It's
go.
those tiny stores that carry
Mom and pop shops.
Yes, the toilet paper. Yeah. So this weekend I watched Satanic Panic, which is on Shudder.
How's that?
It was good. I liked it. It dropped off towards the end, but good special effects, funny, enjoyable, good writing, good dialogue. Then it kind of like takes itself a little seriously, and you're like, wait, what happened to the funny? But not a bad movie. I recommend it. Watch it.
So what's like the top level plot? What's the story?
Pizza delivery woman. It's her first day on the job, and she is assigned a house in a very rich neighborhood. Turns out they're Satanists, like hardcore Satanists, and they want to resurrect that demon dude Baphomet. She is a virgin, and so she is selected. And yeah, awesome.
So hardcore Satanists who also like to order pizza.
Yes, with corn on their pizza.
Oof.
Yeah.
God, fucking Satanists, man.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's the worst.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but funny, and the acting was pretty good. And like I said, the gore effects on some scenes were actually really, really good. Very impressed.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I watched The Invisible Man.
Yes, released early.
Yes,
homes
released
everywhere.
early. Cost $20 to rent, which was didn't know that, but that's
Okay.
it's fine. It's the first of its kind, I guess. A
Right.
big, huge release. But yeah, we watched it. It's amazing. It
Yeah.
is so
Okay.
good. I didn't really know what to expect. Everyone was saying that it was amazing and singing its praises, but I loved it. Like,
All right.
it's one of those that I can't stop thinking about. The last movie I watched that was like that was The Lighthouse. When I watched it, and I thought about it for like weeks, and I'm still thinking about Invisible Man.
Nice.
It is really good. Don't go online and read anything.
Okay.
Don't just, if you haven't seen the trailer, go in and watch it, and it's really good. Leigh Whannell is the guy who I think wrote it and directed it.
Nice.
He's the guy who wrote Saw, the original Saw, along with James Wan, and he was in Saw. He was oh God, what was his name? He was the younger dude in the beginning, in the first one, in the bathroom.
Okay.
With Dr. Gordon.
Yes. Okay.
He was also on that Shudder show that we watched, The Core.
The Core. Yeah.
Yeah, which is another amazing show. Yeah, I watched that. I cannot recommend it enough.
I'm totally gonna watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I definitely want to watch The Hunt next.
That's also
that's the
released
next
early.
Yeah.
$20 also.
I think it's $20. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, it's I can't recommend it enough.
Okay.
Also, I've been watching a lot of Kenny versus Spinny, which is not quite a horror, but sometimes it gets into the horror genre.
It gets close to a horror show.
So I didn't know about this show until maybe a few months ago when you showed it to me.
Yeah.
So what this show is, for people who don't know, is it's basically like if Jackass and Impractical Jokers had a really gross baby.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So the idea is these two guys, two best friends who live with each other, the roommates. There's one challenge, or there's one competition, and it's really dumb things like who can stand up the longest, or who can not sleep the longest. And they just have this little competition between them, and they see how they can do it. There's lots of cheating and backstabbing and all this stuff, and it is really, really funny. I think is it a Canadian show?
I believe
Canadian
so.
show from like early 2000s. It is really, really funny, and it is like between that and Animal Crossing, those are the two things that are like getting me through this apocalypse. So Kenny released all of the entire series on his YouTube channel. So
I need to watch it.
Yeah, it's if you want something to take your mind off of everything, this is the perfect show to do that. So.
I've only seen a select number of episodes because I think it was him who released some of those episodes online, and the who could blow the biggest fart was there is a scene in that. I think I told you I've never laughed that hard in my entire life. It was hilarious, and I don't want to spoil anything, but it's just so fucking funny.
What they do in that episode is they have like this device that they put up to their buttholes, and when they fart, it registers a level.
Right.
And they're eating random stuff. They're trying to get to see who can do the biggest fart, and it's as disgusting as it sounds, and it's as hilarious. If you think that's funny, you will love this entire show.
Yes.
So, Kenny versus Spinny. Google it. Go to the guy's YouTube.
Yes.
And watch that.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Speaking of good stuff.
Yes. Good stuff. Do you want? We watched a movie called.
We did.
He's Out There. It is on Netflix. We hope you watched it too. But if you didn't, listen along. Maybe it's something you would like to watch. We'll talk about it. Straight up, I'm saying I enjoyed this movie. I did. I liked it. Suspenseful. You want to do do we have a brief summary of it? Should you want me to talk about it? Or?
So the very brief IMDb summary is on vacation at a remote lake house, a mother and her two young daughters must fight for survival after falling into a terrifying and bizarre nightmare conceived by a psychopath. So this woman and her two kids are in this cabin. Her husband is on the way to the cabin. They got there early, and a lot of weird, creepy things start happening, and there's this dude who is messing with them in a creepy mask, and an axe, and that's the movie. So top level, you liked it.
I did. I enjoyed it. There are definitely some things that I didn't like, but overall, I think it was an entertaining movie. Good acting, even for the little kids. I thought they were pretty good.
I agree.
The main lead, I don't know her name.
Yvonne Strahovski.
Yeah, you told me she was the person who played Miranda in Mass Effect 2. Yeah. So that's the only place I know her from. She was great. The effects were cool. The story was lacking. I mean,
that's my biggest problem with it.
Yeah, it was basically exactly what you said. 3 people in a cabin, they're being hunted kind of by this dude, and The end.
Yes.
There's not much to it.
Right.
But it's a good ride. It's like
Yeah.
it's like a ride at an amusement park that's not Disney World. Whereas like
There you
Disney
go.
World and Disneyland have this setup building to the ride. Even when you're not on the ride, you're waiting online and you're seeing cool stuff happen around you, and you know, it's building a story. This is not quite the ride at a carnival that's run by a carny, and you know, like it just spins you around and you throw up. This is
Right.
like a Six Flags ride. This is
Right.
like
Great America.
Yeah, this is like, you know, like one of those. So it's like mid-level enjoyment.
There you go. It doesn't have the magic of a Disney World or a Disneyland.
Yes. Yeah.
So I also liked it. I didn't love it. It was all right. So let's just get into the spoiler
Sure,
territory.
sure,
Top
sure.
level, we both like it. I think it's a fun watch if you're
Yeah.
looking for a fun creepy horror movie that
Yeah.
probably never seen or heard of.
Right.
I would recommend it. It's very copy and paste, cut and dry slasher movie.
Bare bones.
It's
Yeah.
very bare bones. There's no they don't really do anything different. It's just they want to make a Jason, they want to make a Halloween, a Friday the 13th, and they went and did it. And there's there's nothing else added to it. If this movie came out in the 70s, it would be exactly what Friday the 13th is.
Yes.
They tried to add a little bit of, I think what they did try to do, they did try to add a little bit of character to the slasher. Because he actually does talk and he has a little bit of a backstory, but
Right.
it didn't really play for me that well.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they there's a couple characters in the beginning who are like, okay, it's going to be one of these several people, and that none of that really pans out. It's just
They were all red
just a guy.
herrings. Yeah.
yeah, it's just a guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't know. I liked it. It was definitely a fun ride, but it was pretty. It was just the action was good. Like you said, acting was good. Just kind of boring in a way.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
there was nothing like holy shit. No big twists at the end.
Right.
Not that it needs that, but you know.
Yeah.
And so you wanna go through the actual story? The actual plot?
Yeah. Let's go through
Okay.
it.
So right off the bat, I'm going to talk about a really nerdy film thing,
Yes. Go
the
right ahead.
color grading of
Yes.
this movie. So we open with this movie and we see the aftermath of whatever happened. We see the cabin, cars crashed. There's a creepy girl reading, or a girl reading like a creepy poem, voiceover, and we just see blood and axes and something crazy happened.
Yeah, there's something inside sticking out of the car. It looks like a machete or something bloody is in the engine of the car, I think.
Right.
In the hood of it, yeah.
Or it's in the trunk. It's in the trunk.
Oh,
sticking
okay.
out of that.
Right.
So the color grading of this movie is almost black and white. Like
Yes.
it's so desaturated that it's black and white. Like you can see their skin tones a little bit. It's way even more than like Zack Snyder gets a lot of shit for doing like very stuff like this, and this is way past that. So I thought when movies do this, it's okay. This is a flashback. This is a memory. This is someone thinking.
Right.
So when it started that way, I'm like, okay, cool. It's gonna be like this, and then it cuts to the next scene, and the next scene is the mother, Yvonne Strahovski, Laura, packing her two kids in the car to take them to this cabin, and it's still like this. So I'm like,
Right.
okay, are we gonna cut like right into the middle of the action? Like that would be cool, but we don't, and it sticks with that the whole movie.
Yeah.
So it's really weird, and I know like I've done color grading, I've done bad color grading. I know it's hard, but like this is a big movie, not a big movie, but this movie had a budget. This movie has effects and actors. Like this is a real movie.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre that it looks this weird.
Yeah. I watched this with my wife, and the first thing she said, she was like, "Is there something wrong with the TV?" Yeah.
That's what I thought. I texted
yeah.
you because I'm like, is it supposed to look like this?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, okay. So Very weird.
Yeah.
But once it gets to the nighttime stuff, it fits
Yes.
a little bit better. But the daytime stuff just looks not great.
Sorry, my
So-
cat just jumped on. What are you doing? All right.
Let's talk about the movie. So I didn't know that the two girls, her two daughters, they're actually sisters in real
Oh,
life.
really? Okay.
So that's cool. They did look a little similar, so it makes sense. So yeah, it starts with the mom packing up these two kids, and
She's in an argument with her husband. Something I don't remember about what, but
the argument was that he had to stay for work, and he was going to come later.
okay.
So she was like, we had this plan and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm sorry, I have to work. And it's an argument, but it's kind of like, it's whatever. At the end, they're fine. What I didn't realize until later was that the daughter she has the book. Throughout this movie, there's like a child's book, children's book. It's a really weird, creepy book that I don't know why you would give to a little kid, but she's reading that in the car as the parents are like kind of arguing. I thought that she got that book in the cabin because,
Right. Yeah.
well, we'll get to that later. This was a big confusing part for me.
It is. And the story or poem she's reading sounds like a weird, like Aesop's fable kind of thing about a crow and
Darkness and shadows and
and there's some sort of like riddle towards the end of the book that you're supposed to guess what it is. I don't know. It felt like this person watched the Babadook and wanted to have like some sort of book involved in the unnecessary, to be honest. But
though, I think it would have been cool if they had found it at the cabin, because like, okay, we're jumping way ahead, but the book is supposed to be John's, the killer, like. Because he writes it, his name is on it later. He's drawing in it. He puts the pictures in it. So, did they find that book way earlier at the cabin and she took it?
I think that's what the deal was. Like she found it last time,
and she just took it.
I guess not explained very well.
No,
at all.
And the another nerdy thing, the font that they choose in this movie is like.
Yes.
I love font. I'm a big font guy.
Yes.
The font that they use is like a kid's crayon type font, and I get why, because it's supposed to be related to this book. But man, does it look terrible.
It does. Yeah.
It looks horrible.
Yeah.
Again, I've chosen terrible fonts for my stuff. I get it, but goddamn, does it look bad?
No. Yeah. That totally jumped out at me too.
Yeah. Like these.
I am a big font person too, so yeah, I noticed that right away.
But it wasn't just me. Yeah. So we're driving up to the cabin. We get to a gate. The gate is locked. She's having trouble unlocking it with the key. We get this
Pickup truck comes.
Random truck stranger guy, young, handsome dude, comes out right away. You're like, okay, you're probably going to be the killer.
Yeah, he's the killer.
Like he's not being weird with the kids, but he is like looking at the kids and talking to them like specifically. So like that's a little weird, but nothing crazy. He just seems a little. And then there's this one shot as they're leaving of him just staring. Yeah. So they're clearly trying to set up that maybe it's this guy.
Yeah, he is definitely set up to be a red herring. Well, and what was weird was he approaches the little girls in the car first.
Yes.
Yeah, I think his name is Owen. He like goes up to them and starts talking to them, and then the mom like kind of goes, I'm here. Right. You could talk to me.
Yeah. And he tells her about that there was a family who used to live in the home that you're now in. Their son went missing. He was a little off in the head, I think he said. His name was John. As they're driving, they kind of pan over, and we see John carved into one of the fence like posts.
Yes. Yeah. So he went missing, and then they moved out of the house.
Right.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. He disappeared, and then they left. And Owen, he says that he's like the security guard of this lake area.
Right.
But that never comes back. He comes back for 2 minutes later, and that's it. So
yeah.
So we get to the cabin. The girls are running around playing, and then we get the dumbest, most horror movie thing, which is the mom leaving the phone in the car.
Yes.
And it's so annoying that we're still doing that. This movie came out in 2018. We're still doing we left the phone in the thing.
Yeah. I wrote this down on my notes. I said, modern horror movie, the cell phone is lost, broken, or not charged, or left in car. So we come to a dilemma in modern era where the cell phone is super important to get out of danger. And it just seems like it's hard for people to think of ideas on how this technology that will eventually save your life in these predicaments needs to be not available. Yeah. Because like if you go back in time and you watch all these horror movies, not even horror movies, take Reservoir Dogs for example. If every single person on that squad had a cell phone, everything would be fine. One the whole thing wouldn't get messed up. But it's I don't know. I don't.
It's frustrating.
It is. It's very frustrating.
And like, you can't say. My first thought was, why didn't they just say they're in a cabin in the woods? There's no service. But the phone comes in later in the story,
right?
Because he uses the phones to mess with the dad. He uses the phone to mess with the mom. So they needed service to do that. But she had to There's just no way. I totally get taking your phone out in the car when you're driving. Every single person on the planet takes the phone, puts it back on their pocket or in their purse when they get out of the car. Yeah. Every single person. You just don't do that. Yeah. And you especially don't leave it, take a call from your husband, and then put it back.
Right.
Like, it's just... I know it's probably really hard to think about stuff, but, I mean, there's got to be a better solution than that.
Yeah.
So she gets a call from the husband. The husband is on his way. He stops at a really weird gift shop to buy gifts, but also wine for him and his wife.
It was a scene that weird. Didn't need to happen. It was very weird. I mean, I understand the calling, but him being in that weird I guess it's like a truck stop or something. I don't know. Yeah.
And then he goes to the counter and he's like, "Hey, give me 2 of your finest bottles of whatever." Right. And the woman at the counter looks at him and goes, "So what did you do?" Yeah. And he's like, like, what? Yeah. Next to the wine is a pair of flip-flops. What is this store? This is just such and there's Red Bull on the counter. It's just such a weird it must be like a truck stop, craft weird store.
Yeah, so he buys a teddy bear and a music box.
Yes,
for the girls,
for his daughters.
Yeah.
So, mom goes inside, unpacking. Daughters are swinging on a really cool treehouse swing set that I kind of want now. It's just a really really cool thing.
Yeah.
She's relaxing on the bed. The girls are swinging, and then they notice a red string.
Yes.
Just laying on the ground. And this is really cool. I like this whole string aspect of this movie. So they follow the string, and it goes really deep into the woods, and we don't see what is at the end. We cut back to the mom. Of course, she's getting undressed because it's a horror movie. We have to see a woman in her underwear. She notices that the kids are gone, and she starts to worry. She comes downstairs, and they're on the porch. One of the daughters is hiding something in her shirt very clearly, and she hides it in the drawer upstairs, and mom was like, what is that? What is that? And she's like, it's for dad. Don't worry about it. Again, I'd be like, what the fuck are you hiding?
Seriously.
Go look at what your daughter's hiding. It's something weird.
There was definitely a lot of moments where I was like, I'm going to say this. I am not a parent, but I could call this out. You are not being a good parent there. Check on what your kids are doing. Yeah.
But she did make them pizza the next scene, so it's
exactly
okay,
yes. I want to stop you for a second. I wrote down on my notes, I would totally follow the red string. Would you? I don't know if I would do what they did at the end of the red string, but I would totally follow the red string.
Are we talking about me now as an adult?
Yes.
or me as a kid. Me as an adult, yes, I for sure would.
Yeah.
Me as a kid, I probably also would. But I would be dumber about it.
Yes.
I thought what was going to happen was he was going to lead her in with the string and then change the course of the string. So when they followed it out, it was going to take them to a different spot. I thought that would have been cool, but that didn't happen. I would follow it. I would need to know. I would take my camera and document it.
Yeah, I would totally follow it as an adult, and as a kid, yes, I would, but I'd be super scared. I'd still be scared as an adult, but
oh god, for sure.
Yeah, but
for sure,
more scared as a kid.
So we're back at the house. The mom is reading this same children's book to her daughters.
Right.
The younger daughter, whose name is Kayla, I think is the younger one.
Okay.
I don't know. The younger daughter.
Yeah.
She's feeling very sleepy and she doesn't look great.
Doesn't eat her pizza.
Terrible. We're in a pandemic. You finish your pizza, okay?
Yeah.
We flipped. So she sends the daughter up and just continues reading to the older daughter.
Right. Also, calling it out.
Weird.
Not a good parent move.
Weird.
Sorry.
Go check on your little kid.
Your kid's not feeling well? Come on, man.
Super weird. So they're flipping the page, and there's a in this book there's a page spread. The right side is a full picture. The left side has some more of the creepy dialogue. But above that is a pure blank. Half the page is pure white.
Yes.
And scribbled in with what looks like pen is a very creepy drawing of two girls on a swing set with a taller woman standing in between them with her head cocked.
Yes.
And she's like, "Oh, did Maddie draw this?" And she was like, "No, that was in there."
Right.
Because the younger daughter draws creepy things. I guess we should say that she draws like really weird zombie. Like her doll is like a creepy zombie doll.
Yeah. Very strange.
Never explained.
Yeah.
But I just love that the fact that this book has a big white space. Like, why?
Draw your creepy pictures here.
I guess. So Maddie is the younger one. Kayla is the older one.
Okay.
So they keep reading. We get a little bit more of this book, and they go upstairs. And now Maddie is sweating, and she does not look good at all. And she asks if she feels hot. And
she pulls the blankets away from her and then walks away.
And then walks away to go smoke a cigarette.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, she has a cigarette hidden in the kitchen. She goes out to smoke it. And the dad calls right then, and she's kind of walking around talking about stuff. She makes a point to talk about the eggs. They got to get through to the audience. She needs eggs. Oh, God, it's going to come back in a really big plot point later. Okay. So at this point, she's hearing some creepy noises, some twigs breaking and stuff.
Right.
Left a door wide open in the cabin in the middle of the woods. It's fine. She goes to sleep. The older daughter comes, wakes her up, says there's something wrong with the younger daughter. And Maddie is sitting in a weird little tent in her room, and then she just vomits.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And my wife does not like vomit, and when that happened, she did not like that part. So she starts to vomit. They take her to the bathroom, and she starts reaching in her throat.
Yeah,
like there's
pulling something
stuck
out. Yeah.
The mom sticks her fingers very far in there and pulls out a little piece of something. We don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But it was really gross to see.
Yes. Wait, don't we see what it is? Okay, yeah.
We do, yeah. So she opens it up, and it's like a little ribbon, and it just says hello in like Sharpie, which is probably toxic.
Yes. So. And then this is the reveal of the cupcake, correct?
Right.
So the mom asks, like, what did they eat, or...
Yeah, it was what is this from? Where is this? And then it's a cut back to the end of the string,
right?
As they're following it along, and as they get there, they see it's like a tea party.
Tea party set up in the middle of the woods with two cupcakes.
And they look very delicious.
They do.
I have to say. I don't know. I don't think I would eat forest cupcakes, but they look tasty.
They did.
So the younger one has
Ate the
eaten
cupcake.
that cupcake. Yeah, she ate it, and the older one didn't. She saved
Right.
it for Dad. That was the thing that she was hiding.
And the older daughter reveals that like she has the cupcake still. Correct.
Yeah, so the mom ran up and got it and stuck her fingers in it, and it's just full of green goo,
Right.
which is weird.
Now, this is another thing. If I was a parent, I would call poison control right then and there and make my kid throw up like crazy to get anything of this out.
Yeah.
No, doesn't do it. Nothing.
No.
Yeah.
She sticks her fingers in this cupcake, and it's full of green goo, which is weird because I feel like you can poison a cupcake with just some liquid. Like you don't need to have a bunch of green goo, but I guess they want to make it look creepy. She pulls out another little slip of paper that says goodbye.
Right.
So now things are weird. The kids start freaking out now because she's freaking out. Everyone's starting to freak out. They hear something hit the roof and like roll down. At this point, I still wasn't sure if what's happening is going to be paranormal or not, because like there's a lot of weird stuff going on.
Yes. Yeah.
But at this point, she's like, okay, I need my phone. And this is when I was like, oh, God damn it. This is going to happen. So she grabs a knife and runs out. She turns the lights off in the house, runs out to the car. Her phone is gone. Now, did you notice that she had vomit on her chest for almost this entire movie?
I did not notice that.
So I think it's vomit. So she has like a very white tank top,
Right.
And you see in some of her chest, and on like right above her right breasts, there is, I think, vomit, and they kept it there. They kept it there for at least 30 minutes after she gets vomited on.
That's crazy.
It's really weird, and it's so distracting because all I'm looking at is vomit running around in the forest.
At this point, the kids don't shut up. They are...
Kids don't shut up for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, screaming. Like,
Yes.
Okay, this is the point where you should stop because, there's something out there trying to get us. No. Kids don't take that advice and are screaming. They're scared and they're kids, sure, but
Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Like they're just so. This point is when they get straight up annoying. Just throughout this whole movie.
Yeah.
So the mom's in the car digging around, and then we get the thing that I hate the most about this movie, which is we had subs on. We watched with subs, and you hear a giggle come from the forest. And the sub says demonic giggle. And I hate it because the giggling makes no sense as to any part of this story.
Yeah, I didn't understand
it's
that.
It's like they watched it and like, oh, we have Babadook for the book. Let's throw in some Pennywise laughter. Like that's really what it felt like.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. It didn't fit at all. It didn't sound. It sounded like if they had showed that it was like a recording that this guy was using to fuck with them, cool.
Right.
But they don't do that. It's just giggling.
Yeah, and he is revealed later. John. This man, I don't think has ever giggled in his life. Like that's not what he is about. Yeah. So yeah, it totally doesn't fit.
His face is like a creepy, weird. It looks like he has bandages. Like it looks like a bandage bloody, and there's like he has like a skull nose.
Yeah, it's like stuck to him.
Like there's no clown makeup.
Right.
He was kidnapped, or no, he went missing as a kid. So maybe that's the giggling is because he was a kid. I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
For sure that this giggling voice is not him making that noise. She finds the doll wrapped up in like wrapping paper. The younger daughter's the zombie doll.
Right.
That's when she like really starts to freak out, and she runs back inside the house.
The doll was left in the house too, and now is outside in the car. Right?
Yeah. When she went out to smoke, she was like, "What are you looking at?" And she knocked the doll over.
Right.
Because the doll was looking at her, I guess. And then we get the first instance of her grabbing the kids and trying to run out of the house. Now, this happens 15 more times throughout the movie, where she's like, we gotta go. They run out, and then they run right back in.
Right,
So they grab the kids, they run to the car, they start to back up, and all the tires fall off the car.
Yeah.
And it crashes up into a tree.
Which
and
is where we saw the car.
Yes.
In the beginning of the movie, where it's that flash forward or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, so in the same kind of, I think, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
There's also another car
right
in the beginning that we don't know who or what that is.
Yes.
So they're back in the house. They cover all the windows.
Mm-hmm.
Kids still freaking out. The daughter who got poisoned is having trouble breathing. Really good sound effect of trouble breathing.
Mm-hmm.
I have asthma, so I know that sound, and it's terrible.
She goes to get Benadryl.
Right. She goes to get Benadryl, drops the bottle in the sink, spills 90% of the bottle,
right.
Which is cool. Then she takes a moment to look at herself in the mirror and kind of freak out. Maybe don't do that yet. Maybe just go give your kid Benadryl because they're having an allergic reaction. But whatever.
Maybe don't take your time on this one.
Yeah. She she grinds up the pills, puts it in water, and then makes the kid drink it, which is, I think, a good solution.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think of that. I thought she was just going to force it down her throat and make it swallow, but that's good. We hear banging noises coming from the door, and we hear... Oh, no, it's on the window, and we hear, tape and, knives and stuff, and she walks to the window and opens the blinds, and it's a family photo of this family with all the faces scratched off except for the mother's.
Right.
Which I don't get why.
Nope, I don't. That's not explained later.
I don't get it. Is it?
Even one of the kids asks, "Where did they get that photo and why are our heads scratched out?" And the mom
and
goes,
they never talk about it ever again. There's no weird. I was thinking okay, John is going after the mother because the mother is the one, she killed him, or she tried to kill him as a kid, so he's out for mothers now. He hates mothers, but never explained ever.
No, there's no logic in this.
Right.
There's I always wanted to write some sort of weird horror movie where the antagonist is strictly crazy and there's no motive. It's just because. And this sort of seems like that, but there's all this evidence that points to some place, but that place is nowhere. It's trying to have okay, this is why he's doing this, but it's never explained, and never all those leads go nowhere.
Yeah, all the red string goes nowhere.
Yes, exactly.
It really felt like this was a first draft of a script, and they needed a couple more passes to flesh out stuff.
Yeah.
So the mom takes the kids up to the bedroom, and she's like, we got to wait for Dad. The girl looks over and says, Dad's here. And she's like, what? And the mom looks out the window, and we first see the silhouette of this man who is messing with them. And he just kind of slowly waves and then walks away.
It's so weird.
Very weird. And at that point, I think they run away, or they run downstairs, and we see the book on the kid's book on the nightstand, and we zoom into the spine, and we see John carved into the side.
Yes. Now, was that always there? Or did he do that when he got the doll?
Who fucking knows?
Yeah, it's not explained.
I have a hard time thinking that he did it after the doll, because the kids were awake and she was sick and they were running around. I imagine there was maybe an hour between when they went to sleep and when the mom got woken up. The daughter's tossing and turning. You think I can't imagine he went up there, scrolled that name, came down, got the doll, and then it's just it's crazy.
Yeah.
At this point, the dad shows up to the gate, which is locked. The wife said she was going to leave it open. And there's a sign that says "Follow me," and there's red string going off into the forest.
Ominous.
If I thought my family did that at 2:00 in the morning after I was driving for 8 hours, I'd be like, fuck no, I'm ramming this gate down.
Yeah. Or just
But-
climbing the gate, like locking,
Yeah.
the car up and just climbing the gate and walking to the house. I mean, they really don't tell you exactly. You don't get a good picture of how far away this gate is from the house.
I can't imagine that far. What, a
Yeah.
mile, maybe at the most?
Yeah, but it's weird. Very strange.
So he takes out the phone. He takes out his cell phone, calls his wife, and we hear that phone ringing in the forest. Mm-hmm. So he's like, okay. And there's like heavy breathing over the phone, and he's like, okay, you guys are playing a game. So he uses his phone and follows the light or follows the string. Mm-hmm. He keeps calling the phone, and eventually it picks up, and he hears himself through the other phone.
Right.
Which at this point would not be fun anymore. It would be terrifying.
Right.
And he gets to the tea party, which is where the girls were earlier, and he uses the phone to kind of look around, and he sees like a weird mannequin family that this dude has made, and they all kind of look like their counterparts of this actual family.
Right.
Then we see John in his mask for the first time, kind of leaning against a tree, looking very creepy, and he walks up behind the dad, and then it cuts.
Right.
And then the scene cuts. We are back in the house, and they're trying to reassure the younger daughter because she's feeling very sick, talking about how the grandma was brave. She was sick. Again, cool, but never comes back.
Gotta be like grandma.
You got to be like grandma.
Gotta be brave. So weird.
And she's like,
right?
and she was like, "Did grandma cry?" No, grandma didn't cry. Like, your kids are gonna cry. They're getting hunted by a fucking psycho. Just let them cry, but also be quiet. So they hear, they hear knocking at the door, and they hear their dad over behind the door, and the mom is like walking and like Sean, whatever, and they're trying to talk to each other. But he's just saying, he's not really answering her. He's just saying random things. He's repeating what he said on the phone in the previous scene.
Right.
It is weird because I guess she suspected something was wrong, but I don't know. I would think you would either go out to the door and open it immediately.
I would,
or not at all. I don't know. This felt weird. But she's just very slowly... This whole scene is like 2 minutes of them like, Sean, hello, you there? Good, you there?
Yeah.
It's fun. And it's like, just do something.
She does eventually do something and opens the door.
Yes.
And you see the cell phone hanging from a rope, correct? And like from the roof, from the overhang of the house.
It's like a tape recorder, like a voice recorder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he was recording the other guy's phone.
Gotcha.
And then a big rock falls down, and then after the rock falls down, a body falls down.
Right.
And she turns it over, and it's her husband with no eyes.
No eyes, yeah.
His eyes are removed.
Kids are still inside. Mom is outside seeing this and flips her shit.
Yep.
And
the girls say, "Oh, Dad's here, Dad's here." They run out to see Dad, and she's like, "No, get back inside." She's freaking out, which freaks out the kids more.
yeah.
Kids are doing a great job. They're great actors. They look scared in this movie.
They probably
kids
were.
probably were terrified of this movie. Yeah. And then we get the second instance of the mom trying to run away with the kids.
Yes.
And they walk up to the swing set, and they see the two kids swinging, and then are the two mannequin kids swinging on the swing set, and then in the middle, being hung by a noose, is I guess the mother mannequin who's supposed to represent her.
I think so, yeah.
And it looks just like the drawing that was magically in the book.
Right.
And then we hear more giggling, and an egg gets thrown on her face.
Remember those eggs? They're back.
Remember those eggs? This is where it pays off huge. So you hear giggling, lots of giggling, and eggs just start getting tossed at them.
Yeah.
Hitting them in the face, hitting them on the house, everywhere. and they're running in like they're freaking out like they're getting hit with bullets. Like they're just getting eggs tossed at them. And then they run back in the house, and she locks the door, and that's it with the eggs.
Yeah.
So
what the fuck?
This masked, horrifying serial killer in this scene in this movie is just throwing eggs at a family.
Yeah, I yeah. Like,
It's so weird.
after I watched the movie, I was like, this is a good movie. And now that we're talking about it and going over it, it's still a good, it's an okay movie now. It was good before. Now it's just okay.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
like,
let's just wait till we get to the end.
yeah.
So she boards up the door, and this is when the daughter notices the new drawing in the book, and of the swing set, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's us!" One of the mannequins gets chucked through the glass window.
Yes. Was this an
is
homage to like Friday the 13th, where like Jason would throw a body through a window usually?
I would think so. Yeah.
Okay.
It seemed like that.
Because it was just out of nowhere. You would
nowhere.
think that like this guy John, later on in the movie, you see how delicate he is with these mannequins, and like the placement of them and things like that. And just to throw one through a window just seems sort of odd.
Off.
And yeah.
And they're mannequins. They're homemade out of like wood, right?
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
material that he found in the wood. They're not like actual mannequins. That'll be next week.
Yes.
So they run upstairs and they lock themselves in the bedroom. I like this scene. And she gets on the floor and looks underneath, and she's just waiting for him to come up. And she starts breaking down, and the girls kind of crawl on top of her, and they all hug each other, and they have this nice moment. I really like this part. This is when they all like take a second to breathe, like, okay, shit's getting real. And they're like, Dad's gonna be here soon, and she's like, yeah.
He'll be here.
Right. So she puts the kids in the closet and gives them the brightest fucking watch I've ever seen in my life. She's like, here, look at the second hand, count to 20, and I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the car again.
Right.
And she shuts the door, and she runs outside with a knife and a flashlight.
Now, is she
goes-
going to her car?
No, she's going to the dad's body to get his car keys.
To get the car keys. Okay, right. Okay.
Yeah. And when they come, so she's gone for a few seconds. We cut back to the kids, and they're counting to 20, and it gets to 20, and they're starting to cry. And then it does, I hate this so much. It does slow motion when it wasn't filmed in slow motion, so it looks that really jagged, terrible slow motion. And we hear footsteps, and the door opens, and it's the mom. Surprise. She's back. And
they do that weird they do that weird like fake slow motion. I think it's in the second Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah.
Or no, it's the first one. Maybe it's the second. Oh shit, I got them
sure
confused.
they do it in all of them.
Yeah, where they chop off what's her name's head? Mrs. Voorhees' head.
Right.
It's not filmed in slow motion, but it's it just looks so weird.
It's fine if you shot the movie in the 70s.
Right.
my phone can shoot slow mo now. You can shoot at 120 frames. Just shoot it in slow motion and then do it. But they did it, and it looks terrible.
Yeah.
So their plan is to now go out of the house again and get to the dad's car. As they start to come out, they hear someone downstairs rummaging through the utensil drawer, it sounds like.
Yes.
And they're like, I have a gun. And the mom says that. She's lying. Then we hear a car honking from outside. And we see, surprise, it's Owen from earlier.
Owen.
Oh, shit, it's not him. It's Owen is not John.
Yes.
So he's walking with a flashlight. He saw the car crashed. She's pounding on the window, scream, help us. She uses the flashlight. And then they just stand and kind of scream at each other for a minute. And John slowly walks behind Owen. And then right as he's about to get axed, she breaks the window and says, he's right behind you. And he gets axed in the fucking face.
Yes, and it was cool.
Hard.
Yeah.
It was awesome. That was a great shot.
Yeah.
And he is dead.
Dead.
So what John was doing in the kitchen, he was just putting utensils in the garbage disposal.
Yeah. I don't get it.
And that was it. And like the doll is on the book on the kitchen table, and there's like blood on it now, but I don't get the utensils at all.
Yeah.
It's very strange. And then she flips through the book, and you see everything that's been happening, and there's now drawings pasted into where the old drawings were, and you see things that have happened, and you see things that are probably going to happen.
Right.
Which is cool, but when does this guy have time to do an arts and crafts book? Like, when is he doing all this stuff?
Yeah.
Like, they have this book was in the kid's room like 2 minutes ago. Mm-hmm. Anyways, so now they're going to run out. Oh, no, they're going to run out again. And the mom is standing at the door, and John smashes through the glass and just pulls her out.
Right. Yeah.
And she just disappears.
That was awesome. Like
that was great.
I feel like at this point, like, I think it was my wife who said, there's no way, like, this is, actually, no, it wasn't at this point, but a little further down the road, there's, like, a point where you're like, is this just gonna end? Like, is John just gonna kill all these people?
That's what I thought, too.
Yeah, it seems like it's going that way.
Because if the mom is gone, the kids have...
Right.
No, they're toddlers, basically. They have chance.
All they can do is scream.
Yes. Very loudly. So the mom gets taken. Kids are in the kitchen, frozen in fear. Mm-hmm. They're screaming for mom. They're crying. One's trying to calm down the other. And they grab the knife that she had, and they start to go outside for some reason. Oh, they want to go find their dad. They still think dad is out there.
Right.
So the older daughter gives the younger daughter the butcher's knife, which is half her size. It's as big as her head.
Right.
But okay, she's really scared. She wants the weapon. I thought she was going to use it. She doesn't. No. So they start walking out to the car, and they hear the same Knick Knack Paddywhack song that was playing in the beginning of the movie when they're first driving to the house.
I have a question about this song.
Yes.
Was this playing on the car stereo, or was this part of just the movie? I
think it was playing on the stereo.
Okay. And now it's playing...
It was playing on a different car.
Right.
In the morning. And now it's in the dad, because now the music is coming from the dad's car.
Right. Unless the dad is just a huge fan of the Knick Knack Paddywhack song. He had it in his DVD or his CD player.
I mean, you figure you have these two annoying little shit kids. You want this, if this song calms them down, you're gonna have it everywhere, right?
True.
So maybe that's it. They go to the car. At least I think it was in the car, coming from the car. It seemed like it was.
I don't know.
Who cares?
Yeah.
They go to the car. They hear a knocking in the trunk, and it's the mom. And she uses the knife to. She's tied up, and she has like string on her face and like a really creepy.
Yeah, the red string is back.
The red string, and it matches one of the photos that we saw 5 seconds earlier in the book that he drew.
Right.
Right as they cut the tape off of her mouth, she says, "Run." John is behind them, and he axes the mom right in the side, in the stomach.
Yeah.
Looks brutal.
Yeah. This is the point where my wife said, okay, well...
It's over.
John wins.
Yeah. The kids start running, and John is just seemingly going to run them over with the car.
Yes.
Really, really creepy. And they leave, and they run back into the house.
They make it back into the house, right, yeah.
And they go under the bed, of course, because that's where you got to go when you're getting chased by a masked killer. And John comes up, looks around, and then we get, I think this is a cool scene. I don't think it pays off. I don't think it's earned, but it's cool. He sits on the bed and starts very calmly talking to them. Mm-hmm. And he's basically like, you don't know me. I used to live here. And then we kind of scroll over and we see John it was like carved into the bed, I think, maybe?
Something like that, yeah.
it gets revealed that he is John. He puts a creepy jar of liquid on the floor, and then he puts a creepy rag in the creepy jar.
Right.
And he basically says, like, I used to live here. I've been watching you. You never saw me. You don't know me. You don't know what the end of the riddle is. I am the answer or something. And then he chloroforms these two girls. Very, very weird.
Yeah. Yeah, he says, you don't know what the darkness is, I think. Right. Which is like this riddle at the end of this book that people think it's the shadow. Like everyone, he says everyone guesses it's the shadow of the... is it a rabbit? No, I'm trying to remember what animals are in the book.
An animal.
I don't... Yeah.
Mouse, maybe?
Mouse, yeah.
I don't know.
And he says, yeah, I am the darkness, or I am the answer of the riddle, or whatever. Yeah.
He knocks them out. Kids are out cold, and we cut back to the tea party, and now there are all the mannequins sitting around the table. The dad...
it's daylight now, right?
It's daylight, yeah, it's daytime. We see creepy drawings on the table. There's blood all everywhere. And the dad mannequin has the dad's real arms. So John cut off the dad's arms, put them on the mannequin, put his eyes in the mannequin's head.
Yes. And now he is carving out the eyes for the mom?
He goes
or is
and
that
gets
later?
the axe.
Oh, right.
No, that's now.
Okay.
He goes and gets the axe from the mom's body, who's still in the trunk. And he goes to the little girl who are just laying on this little hillside, and he puts the knife to their eye, and it looks like real, like, oh shit. But I guess he's like measuring how much space he needs, and then he goes to the mannequin for the daughter and starts carving out the eye.
Yeah.
The older daughter wakes up and tries to wake up the younger one. He looks over. She goes back. She pretends she's asleep. This happens at least 2 more times. And he goes to he cuts off the mannequin's arms, and he's walking over to the daughter to cut off her arms to put it on the mannequin. And
right it's very like tense scene. He like kind of lays out the one who's up, the one who is conscious now, but is pretending to be asleep. He lays out her arm and is like about to swing the axe to cut it off, and then
we hear a music box playing in the distance. And he gets confused, and he walks over, and we see all of the presents that the dad bought now open, kind of leading to the car where the mom was.
Right.
And the last one inside the trunk is the music box. He goes in to look at it, and the mom, he puts down the axe, and then she hits him with the axe. She stabs him in the leg with it.
Yes.
So, again, weird movie thing. Bring a weapon to that fight.
Yeah.
Like, you're leading this guy here. You're hoping that he puts down his creepy axe. Like,
right.
The house is full of knives. Why wouldn't you just go get something real quick?
Yeah.
And just... But fine. They have this big fight. She slashes him a bunch of times. She kicks him in the nuts at one point.
Yes.
And she finally gets the drop on him and slams the axe into his back and just jams it in there. And he is dead. And they go back to the daughters, or she goes back to her daughters, and like, oh my God, this is so great. They get back in Dad's car, and we hear voiceover again from the beginning of the daughter reading this poem or this book about the mouse. Is it a mouse? I think. Hold on, I'm going to see it in a second. I think it's a mouse. Yeah, it's a mouse. Mouse and the crow.
Mouse and the crow. Yes. Okay.
So she looks back as they're driving away, and we see the dead body, and the engine stops, and it kind of putters out, and she has to start it again and again. And as they're driving away, the older daughter looks behind them and says, "Mommy, where did he go?" And we cut back to that shot, and his body is gone, and it cuts to black.
Yes. Weird ending.
The next movie is going to be called "He's Still Out There."
Yeah. So a few notes on the ending, or the big reveal, or like the daylight scenes are interesting. I mean, creepy, but not as creepy as him being in the dark. I did like his makeup though, and it does work in the daylight. It almost feels like it's his face and it's not a mask because it's so tightly stuck to his face. I think that's really cool looking. The mannequins are super creepy in the daylight too, which was interesting, especially with the weird eyes attached
especially mixed with human body parts. It looks really cool. The costume, I love his costume. I love that he's wearing like jeans and like a jacket and like boots, like a forest jacket, with a big hood. Like he looks really cool. And his mask is awesome. His axe is awesome. It's just none of it really.
Yeah, it's the
sense.
story. It's the story that like kind of ruins this. Like, I feel like they're going for another Friday the 13th. I feel like that's what this was. That it's like this masked killer, and there is a method to Jason's madness. But with John, it's I want to create mannequins in the forest with people that people are living inside my old house. Oh, all right.
It doesn't, like, if you go back to the Friday the 13th, I know we talk about that movie a lot because it's like the perfect slasher. It's what started it all, right? Pretty much. Maybe Halloween did, but like, you go back to part one and it is a complete story. Like it's not, this movie, it kind of seemed like they were going to rely on a sequel and the sequel was going to explain John. Clearly they're setting up that he's alive. Or maybe it's just he's a slasher, so they never die, right? But like, go back and watch Friday the 13th Part 1, and they set up a story, and the story ends at the end. And yes, they continue to make more, but there's a reason why that these killings are happening. It all makes sense, and it's wrapped up at the end. And then two, like they explain Jason more as they go, and how he gets the mask, and how he chooses this and that. Like, same with Halloween, like. These things all happen for a reason. They left out that part. They left out the drive of him. Like all we know about him literally is that he disappeared as a kid and he was maybe mentally challenged.
Yeah,
that's what the guy, and all from the two lines from Owen in the beginning of the movie. We don't get why he chooses to do this. We don't get what happened to him. It would have been really cool if instead of that scene with him talking to the daughters, talking about the book, he was talking about why.
Yeah.
It's better to show, not tell, but in this instance, tell us why you're doing these things. Why are you making the mannequins? Is it because you don't have a family and you want to make your own family? Yeah. That's cool. Tell us that. Show us that. Like you did show us, you just didn't explain it well enough.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest problem with the movie is I think it could have been so much cooler if they just got a little bit deeper into him. And I love the choice of humanizing him, John, in a way. I love that. One of my favorite horror movies is called Behind the Mask. And it's kind of like a mockumentary. It's like a faux documentary of a slasher, and a camera crew films him like setting up for one, like a kill, like a Halloween night. And he talks about his mask and why he does this. And I love that movie because it's like the slasher is like a real person, is a human with a story. And I was hoping that this would have notes of that, and it didn't. It's just very cut and dry. So
now, do they plan on making a sequel? Is that do you know if that's in the works for this?
I don't think so. I think this, so from what I read, that this was supposed to be a theatrical release, but the original director, and they don't say why this happened. Also, the original script was called Scarecrow, which is a way cooler name. Because He's Out There is not really a good name at all.
No.
So the original director was the guy who directed Last House on the Left, the 2009 version.
Okay.
And I guess he's a little bit more well known, and it changed to Quinn Lasher, who gets the credit, but this is his first movie. So they said because of that they dropped it from theatrical release, which is very weird.
That is strange.
So like Screen Gems had the rights, they dropped it, and then it went straight to streaming.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, I can't imagine there's going to be a sequel to this. I don't think it's...
If there is, I would totally watch it.
For sure. Yeah.
I mean, and if they really work on maybe the character of John, it could be interesting. And it could maybe make the first movie a little better if you enhance the story in the sequel.
I feel like if they did it, it would be the same movie again with a different family.
Probably, yeah.
I feel like that's probably what would happen. But if it is, we'll watch it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Add it to our list.
It wasn't a bad movie. It was an okay movie.
It was an okay movie.
Yeah.
So the big question now is,
yes,
where do we want to rank it? So as of right now, we have Velocipaster at number 1 and Uninvited at number 2.
Okay.
Where do you think out there goes?
Okay. I believe that this is a second place movie. And we're moving, and this is my opinion, moving Uninvited to third, this to second, Velocipaster still remaining champion at number 1. What are your thoughts?
Oh, man. So we talked about this a lot, how we want to do this.
Yeah.
If we have a disagreement, how does this work? There's only 2 of us. If we have how do we do a tiebreaker? And we came up with, we're not going to stop recording until we make a decision.
Yeah.
So we're going to convince each other where we think they should go.
And what is your thoughts? Is it's third now? You think Uninvited is better than this one?
Okay, no. I think this is infinitely better than Uninvited in every stretch of the imagination.
Okay.
I do think I had more fun with Uninvited. I do think...
I will agree with you there.
I had a lot of fun with that movie, and I would watch that movie way more than like this one for sure. I'll never watch again. I don't think I have any reason to watch this movie ever again.
Sure.
It's not fun enough to watch on my own. It's not bad enough to watch like with people. It's just a very boring horror movie. Uninvited and for sure Velocipaster, I would watch again. I think last episode I said I would never watch Uninvited, but I would. If it was a party or something, I would watch it again.
All right. Okay.
But from the point of view of like, is this a better movie? I think this is a way better movie than Uninvited. So I'll agree with you. I think it should go at number 2.
I think okay. So this is.
Did I just convince you to put it 3?
Kind of. I think it depends on like how we're looking at the list. Like you said, it's Uninvited is a super fun movie to watch.
Yes.
And like you said, you'd watch it again if it was like at a good bad horror movie night or something. Yeah. This movie, he's out there, is not a movie you'd watch again. It's just like that carnival. It's like that ride. It's like, okay, it was a good ride, but I've been on it. I don't want to do it again. So how are we looking at this list? Because I think it depends on how we look at this list, where this falls.
Sure.
Since we are a comedy/horror podcast, I believe we should look at it like it's a movie night with friends.
A fun time versus a good movie.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I think this should be number 3. So it's Velocipaster, Uninvited, and then he's out there at number 3. Yeah.
If we're going with that, I would agree. And I think that's probably better for what we're doing. Let's do that. Let's do the fun factor first.
Okay.
So as of now, Velocipaster number 1, the reigning king, never going to get topped ever, never once. Number 2, Uninvited, and number 3, he's out there.
Yes.
And that's the official rankings.
And it's the way we watch the movies too, the order.
Yeah.
So
which is interesting.
Yeah. Cool.
So next week's movie, it is called Tourist Trap.
Yes.
From 1979. It is available on Shudder.
Yes.
And right now, Shudder is putting out a free 30-day trial due to everyone being at home. They're giving out this trial. So if you go to Shudder and type in the promo code SHUTIN, SHUTIN, all one word, you get 30 free days.
That's an awesome deal.
It's an awesome deal. If you like it, keep it up after that. It's a really great service, super cheap.
Awesome.
And it's amazing. So, yeah, Tourist Trap is our next movie. It has some mannequins. It has some, I think it's a little supernatural stuff going on.
Yeah. From the trailer, we both have never seen this movie before. I saw the trailer on Shudder, and I was like, this looks very interesting. The box art, or whatever they're calling it now, the little art that you see, cover art on the in the app of Shudder is creepy as crazy. Yeah, it's like a person with like half of a mask on. Yeah. It's almost got kind of like a leather face look to it. Yeah, watch the trailer and watch the movie too.
Yeah, watch the movie, okay?
Yeah,
just do it for us. We don't ever ask you for anything. Just watch the movie and send us a fucking email, okay?
Yes, please.
God,
we have a phone number too.
We have a phone number and an email. Our email, if you want to watch the movie and send it to us, is ControlAltDeathpodcast @gmail.com. Watch the movie, send us your review, send us your thoughts, send us recommendations.
Yes.
You just want to talk about Animal Crossing?
Yeah.
We'll talk about Animal Crossing, please. And if you would like to call us, you can call us and leave a voicemail, and that number is 818-457-6887. Call us, leave a voicemail.
Yeah, let us
We'll play it on the show. We'll read it on the show.
We did get some recommendations on our social media about what movies to watch.
We did.
We will look those over. We do have a growing list of what to watch. Yeah. So next week, you have to watch Tourist Trap before Wednesday. That's when our shows come out.
Yeah, send us anything you think we should watch, and we'll add it to our list. We want to have lots of choices for different events and stuff. So
right.
Let us know.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. My name is Ben Monster.
I'm Gabriel Chazana.
And don't be a dingus.
Bye.
Bye.
Stay inside. Wash your hands.